morning. Welcome to Morning Java. I'm Matt Grubba alongside Chris Bradford here. Morning Java brought to you by Get Go Cafe and Market, where they have fresh brewed espresso. It's going to be 90 degrees all week, guys. They got iced and frozen coffee options. That's what you want to go there and get. You know this. Stay cool. You've been staying cool at the ice, and the Penguins surprising people a little bit with a blast from the past, I think, with Matt Cullen coming back. Were you surprised, Chris?
Yeah, a blast from the recent past.
Yeah.
I want to say I was surprised, but then I wasn't surprised because, given Jim Rutherford's affinity for the player, Matt Cullen, this is going to be his third stint with Jim Rutherford, second one here in Pittsburgh. They tried to get him last trade deadline. They didn't want to lose him in free agency last summer. He was available this year. No harm, no foul. It's a $650,000 contract. He will be 42 years old. So even if he doesn't pan out, the Penguins are really not taking a great risk. Kind of a high reward, low risk situation.
Yeah, and kind of a high floor kind of guy too. You know what you're getting at this point in his career. It's not like he's going to come out and shock everybody with 30 goals, but
no, I mean they like what he brings. I mean he's a defensive specialist. He's good on the PK, good in the faceoff circle. Yeah. Those are two areas where the Penguins thought they could improve. And Jim Rutherford said that he thought they could have used a little dose of leadership. That was a little bit surprising. I was kind of surprised to hear him say that the leadership wasn't there last season like he thought it should be. I mean, the Penguins are a team the core of that team is all in their early 30s, so they're bringing in a 42-year-old guy, so it's worked for him in the past, so I'm assuming they're hoping it's going to work again for him.
We're going to stick to Penguins here, and now the free agency is flying fast and official now. The move that was reported much earlier, Jack Johnson, a 5-year deal with the Penguins. Chris, tell us a little bit about that and your take on it.
Yeah, 5 years, $16 million. I think it was actually below market value what Jack Johnson could have gotten maybe elsewhere. But I think the chance of winning a Stanley Cup, something he's clearly not had a chance to do in Columbus, that helped bring him to Pittsburgh. Same with Sidney Crosby. He said that did have a little bit of an effect on his decision to come here. There's some question, I think, about the term, the 5 years, because he will be 36 by the time it runs its course. But I think you look at Matt Hunwick. There was another contract that a lot of people were kind of hemming and hawing that, they're going to be stuck with it. Well, Jim Rutherford was able to get rid of that guy pretty quickly. So if Jack Johnson doesn't fare well here, chances are that Jim Rutherford will deal him.
And he seems to be a guy that, sort of opposite to the Cullen signing, which is just a safe pick. Johnson's a guy that, when he was young, there was a lot, he was highly touted, a lot of potential. Now he's sort of settled into, a 3-4 type NHL defenseman a lot of times in Columbus. So where do you see what his potential could be in a different system in Pittsburgh?
I think Pittsburgh's a really good fit for him. I'm actually more of a fan of him than I think some people are. I know the analytics don't really show up in his favor very well, but I think the eye test, you can see what he can do. He's a fairly physical player. He brings certainly a lot more offense than maybe Matt Hunwick, who had that reputation but didn't bring it that much. Right. He's a good all-around player. He's not the player he was, and he's not going to be playing 20 minutes, but he's going to, I think, help defray some of those minutes that Chris Letang was getting last season. So for the Penguins, I think it's a potentially a win-win. Yeah. All right, now we're going to turn our attention towards the Pirates, who have won a series. They took 2 of 3 this weekend in San Diego. Pretty good sign. Yeah,
2 of 3, and Deion's obviously out there. He's making the trip up to L.A. For the series starting tonight in Los Angeles, but hey, I mean, the Padres are the kind of team, if the Pirates want to stay in contention, you got to get the wins where you're expected to, and they did it in kind of surprising fashion on Sunday, actually not getting the starting pitching that they needed, but the bullpen came through. They were able to piece together some offense, big grand slam from Colin Moran. Hey, that's a scrappy kind of win that, for the majority of June, the Pirates weren't getting those sorts of wins.
No, in fact, the Padres came into town here and they took 2 or 3 from the Pirates. But this was a very good win, and especially for the bullpen. I mean, you use that many pitchers, and again, they've had this sort of committee just trying to get the ball to Vasquez at the end, which they finally did on Sunday afternoon. Yeah. But it looks like maybe some pieces are starting to settle in. It was a good outing for Tyler Glass. Now, I think, having been to cover about 10 of those games now, that's one guy. He has very impressive stuff. Now we're going to turn our attention to the NBA of all things. Yeah. Some really big news coming out over the weekend. LeBron James, now an LA Laker.
Yeah, and that's, it's not a Pittsburgh sport necessarily, but it is the big news. And actually, I guess Pittsburgh's second favorite sport is watching Cleveland be miserable. So, LeBron is out the door for a second time in Cleveland, out to the Lakers, a big deal. I mean, the hater line would be, now he gets to lose to the Warriors in the conference finals, not the NBA finals. But, he wants to be a sort of a multimedia star, wants to get into movies, that sort of thing. I think he probably is fully aware that Kobe Bryant won an Oscar last year for short film. So, I mean, it's a thing where he wants to diversify his off-court interest, and I think with a team in rebuild mode like the Lakers are, he sees where he can just jump right in and move them from drafting in the lottery to contender.
Yeah, I don't see how they become instantly a champion. I mean, this guy's been, last 6, 7 years, every year to the NBA final. Mm-hmm. I think the Lakers are still a long way. This just seems like the most Laker move. If they get some old guy, like Wilt Chamberlain at the end of his career, Kareem at the end of his career, and now LeBron. It just...
Although Kareem certainly worked out very well for them.
Wilt also won a title too, but when you think of those guys, I tend to think of them in other teams.
Yeah, and the thing with LeBron too, making that move out there, I want to know, and there's obviously a lot of moves to be made, so who knows if he's still going to be there, but what's going to happen when he and LeVar Ball, Lonzo's dad, meet for the first time? That just seems like a dynamic that could get really tough to manage for Luke Walton really early on.
Yeah, you don't have that problem in the NHL.